podcasters in the Tampa Bay marketplace, but they're missing an opportunity by putting it to video, and that's what PodVision aims to become. Tell the audience about the opportunities behind video.
Well, I mean, we've decided to meld the two worlds of podcasting and television, and so we're coining a new phrase called PodVision. And what PodVision is, it's literally as podcasting and television together. And a lot of people missed the boat on the fact that, we started off in video. Podcasting was video originally,
right?
And then it got easier for people to edit just the audio side of it, and it just became popular,
right?
So our goal is to woo the podcasters back into the video side, because we're all becoming a very visual society. We want to be shown. I mean, now I listen to podcasts all day long, because when I'm not here, it's in my car. I don't even listen to radio anymore. It's my phone's hooked to my Bluetooth and I'm listening to the podcasts that I follow. But in the reality is, if I could watch, I would, but you can't watch and drive. You get in trouble. That kind of line.
And a lot of people are not even familiar that you can watch video casts on iTunes. I had that business show up there as a video cast as well, and I'm amazed how many people don't realize they're up there. And so just like every other podcast, you can have a video cast or a stream cast, whatever you want to call it. I kind of interchange those two words. But we had a great interview last week with Tom Schwab, who has Interview Valet. And after the show, he posted a great testimonial about the future of podcasting. And this is somebody who's been very connected to the industry for 10 years. And apparently my show was the inspiration for his post, talking about how podcasting will evolve back into video streaming as a core component of the message. And especially as file sizes get smaller and data charges go down, where people can stream video at cheaper and cheaper costs. I mean, we're already seeing that today.
Absolutely. I mean, streaming video. Let's jump back. We're probably the oldest company. I'm the oldest guy. Not that I'm old, but I'm the oldest guy. Been doing it the longest in Tampa Bay streaming. I've been doing it since 2001. I mean, back in the days when it hurt to stream, and it was very painful.
It was very costly, right?
Oh my gosh!
And very difficult because the internet connection is.
People we can't watch it. It's stuttering. Well, we even had that today, and it all depends on your cellular bandwidth or your internet bandwidth, and that's getting better and better and better and better. But I mean, video. iTunes started off. That's why that's where I was at a while ago. Is as video. It wasn't audio. I mean, it was audio, but it was a lot of video. I remember when iTunes first came out, and I told my wife, who does a show here, that I said, we need to put your show. We need to do a show. She goes, no one would watch that. I'm like, of course they would watch that. It's entertaining and it's educational, and people will watch it. And she goes, where would I put it? I said, iTunes. And that's back in the day when iTunes would literally take anybody that wanted to put content because they were hungry for content. Now to do it, you got to go through a little bit of hoops and the whole 9 yards, and that sprouted off Hulu and Netflix and all these other channels that are pay per watch. You have to go pay for the box or pay for a unit, or you stick a little unit in the back of the TV and now you can stream to it. But it really is video. Once video comes back, and we're going to have to better keep up with our laptops and our phones and our tablets. There's even I got a buddy of mine who he took out his radio and put an iPad into his car so he can actually get all the stuff that he gets. He goes, and I said, well, dude, you just went to Sirius XM. He goes, nope, not good enough. It's not enough, because podcasts and video podcasting, or the PodVision does, are not there.
That's interesting you bring that up, because I remember in the 90s when we were going from cassette to CD, I changed out like 20 different cassettes. Are we going to see that with cars and iPods with these interchangeable kits?
Every vehicle coming out today, if you'll notice, has a touch screen. And I think what's going to happen is that's going to give you the ability to log into, because, have you noticed that a lot of the new cars today have Wi-Fi? Mm-hmm. Okay, so with the Wi-Fi being already in the car, now you don't have to worry about well, let me dial in a station, or let me find it, or go buy a high definition radio. You just kind of now it's like, okay, this is my favorite podcast, or this is my favorite video. And if that video is already in there and you have small children, it'll feed monitors in the back. So now it's all there already. It's time. It's time because we've got it down to the point where streaming is not hard. Anybody can do it. You can do it off your phones. You can do it now. Let me preface it. I don't want everybody doing it. They need to come to me. Just saying. But it is. It's making it easier and easier to get content out there. Sometimes the content's not as good as other content, but it'll get there. But yeah, it'll be a new thing where you're driving down the road and now you just you hit your button on your steering wheel or you push over and go, that's my podcast that I've been following, and it'll connect to your iTunes and your Spotify's and stuff like that. So that way. And I hate to say this, but I really think radio will never die, but it's coming to it's no longer there. And TV is the same way. And the millennials today, and I know we all pick on the millennials, and thank God that we have millennials because they're the reason that we do what we do. But then you get the Gen Zs that are coming out. I mean, now some of these kids are not even going to know what a TV is.
Right.
Other than, okay, it's something that mommy and daddy put a big video thing in there. We watch a big video for the family, but for the most part, everybody's on their phones or their iPads or their Droids or whatever brand you have. I'm not picking on any of them because I like them all.
Yep. No, I mean, I wish that more radios could get to the podcasts. Right now, I think that's a great opportunity and right now I think it's a hindrance on the growth of podcasts. They got to get to where they're easily accessible inside of the car because that's where so much listening is done. And that's interesting. I would love to learn more about how that guy took out his radio and put it in an iPod. So many cars today, though, the radio is like a core component of the entire operating system.
It is.
I know in a BMW, you can't just take out the radio.
No, he's like me. I mean, I drive an older vehicle because I don't want to have. I love conspiracy theories, and I believe that if we don't keep our older cars around, one day when someone hits that button, none of the cars are going to work because they're all electronic driven. Yeah. I have an old car that sits there that I keep perfect. It runs just great, but there's no electronics to it other than it's got a rotor. And it's not even, and I have to time it because I'm one of those kind of guys. But he has an older car, but there is a company, Orlando, that will literally re-interface your iPad, and I'll get that, and we'll put it on TV, so that it runs your AC, the whole nine yards in your car. And since it's a wireless / cellular driven unit, that it gets all the Wi-Fi. You just got to be willing to pay. You got to have a really good data package. I mean, I know I'm not that I'm pushing anybody over. I like AT&T because we're AT&T and DirecTV, so I don't have I'm unlimited, truly unlimited, which is kind of cool. And also, this show is available each and every morning live stream through YouTube. YouTube now allows for live streaming. Facebook also allows for live streaming. Twitter via the Periscope app allows for live streaming. And so the live streaming market is carrying on, and podcasting is obviously the perfect interface for the two. And I love the term pod vision. It goes so well together. And we were just recently at PodFest over in Orlando, and you had some hesitancy about going over there. Yeah, you were telling me about it, and Gary, who used to run your show in iHeart, was telling me about it, and Chris was like, dude, you got to be there. And I'm thinking to myself, oh man, I'm a video guy going into the audio world because I understand that people can do podcasts either than they can do video casts because the fact that they're not. They don't have to sit there and be dressed up and clean and neat. If they've had a rough day and they don't look good, as long as they sound good, it's good. You go and you record your podcast, you go and you clean it up and edit it, that's great. But ultimately, it really is. I got there and I'm like, oh, I feel like I kept saying to my guys, I'm going to be like a leper. They're not even going to talk to me. I don't know why I'm doing this. And I'll tell you what, every day, so from the beginning, we were probably 3-4 people deep. Oh yeah, I mean, I sat there through a lot of through the conference, and there wasn't a moment I could remember where somebody wasn't talking to you. Yeah. And they weren't just saying, "Oh, what you do," and walking on. You were having 20 and 30-minute conversations with some of these people. Yeah, some of these people actually are hopefully becoming clients, and they really were like, that is cool. That's where I want to go. Because again, we're going back to being a visual society. I mean, we like the audio side like that, but people want to be seen. They want to be shown. It's really going to strive to push back. And what we kept telling everybody is by coming to us, here at the Tampa Bay Multimedia, and being on WeBeam TV, we have the ability to take that editing off their shoulders. And that's the biggest thing, man. I mean, I know we do our own shows here, and sometimes we're like, what are we going to talk about? I have no idea. Good thing we don't have to edit our shows, because when the main thing about us is when we're done, we're done. You have a finished product, which is really good.
Yeah, and the apps today like Zoom, people who watch the show regularly see a lot of the guests here on this TV behind us. People can come in and out wherever they're at on the planet here via Zoom. Zoom very similar to Skype, but a much more stable product for all of you people out there. So check out Zoom, and if you'd like to come onto the program, visit tbsinterview.com. And again, it doesn't matter where you're at in the country. All you need is a microphone and a webcam. You don't even need the webcam. You can come on via phone line. So we want to hear from you, and we want to hear your story. Visit tbsinterview.com. Again, we're here Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., talking with different entrepreneurs, political, and community leaders about the successes and about their business, because we want to inspire you to step outside of the box and experience the entrepreneurial journey for yourself. So again, we're here Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. on TampaBayRadio.com, on demand on iTunes and YouTube. Just go to that YouTubechannel.com. We've got another segment with John when we come back from the break. We'll cover his other brands up there, the Area 52, WeBeam, and Tampa Bay Multimedia, on That Business Show 2.0 with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.
Hi, welcome to Yeager's. We just want to take a minute and show you what we're all about. At Yeager's, our primary business is hardwood flooring, although we are remodelers for kitchen, bath, and general construction. We operate a fleet of shop-at-home vans that have all the flooring type products: hardwood flooring, laminate flooring, tiles, stone, what have you. So we're able to come out first with products in our vehicles and take a look at the setting, how the colors will work, and then to be able to come up with some options and ideas for you. If that's not good enough, we have a large distribution center that we inventory product and have a nice display area.
Hey everyone, Jamie Meloni back here on That Business Show 2.0, where business becomes show business. Learn more about us over at TampaBayRadio.com. All shows available on demand on iTunes as well as on YouTube. Just go to thatyoutubechannel.com. Talking with the brains behind this entire operation. Again, I just provide the content each and every morning. John Gaston, owner of WeBeam TV, Tampa Bay Multimedia, Area 52 Media Group, Podvision. He's a serial entrepreneur and visionary and leading the way with this new Podvision aspect that we were talking about in the last segment. But let's go over to WeBeam TV, which is the website that you also found on. And you also find this show aired live on there as well. One of the many shows that he airs each and every day on the program, WeBeamTV.com. But talk to us about that brand and the many shows that you have over there.
Okay. Well, about 3.5 years ago, we decided to cut the cord with putting our stuff on television stations. It gets expensive. It gets very expensive, and a lot of the clients couldn't handle the cost. And we were trying to build our own brand, so we came up with WeBeam TV. And I said, okay, we're going to start putting our own products on here. So then I'm like, okay, well now I need shows. So the first show that we ever had was my wife's. That's Moving Forward TV, and you've actually been on that show.
Been on there, yes.
Yep. And so we got that one, and then we started over at iHeart, and we had Caregiver Hour. I remember Kim. And you were the show after her.
Yes,
no,
when I was doing Mondays.
Yeah,
yes.
You did show after. I'm like, well, and then you're like, well, what is it? And I tried to call you, and he's like,
yeah, I hung up on him a couple of times.
Like 3 or 4 times. Like, okay.
I thought it was a magazine or something. I thought it was a Tampa Bay Multimedia, and I was confused, but I thought it was like a magazine or something. But
yeah, so we finally got a hold of you, and then Dr. Garko came on board, and then next thing you know, we had American Medicine Today, and we had all these other these shows, and then it snowballed from there. So it took us about 3.5 years now to get to the point where we're 17 shows. In April, we jump up to 22, and our goal is to 50. And I know that sounds like a lot, and it's crazy, and it'll be a hard schedule, but we don't want to have reruns. We want every day to have nice content.
So you're like a TV channel online. You go to WeBeam TV, you see the schedule, and right now you got 17 shows. Mine broadcasts every morning at 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., then followed by Real Estate Quarterback, one of our good friends, Dr. Garko.
Let's Talk Nutrition.
You do some of your own shows too.
Nerd Talk. we have Nerd Talk. We have Comic Book 101. Comic Book 101's brand new for us, and they're already knocking it out of the park. I mean, Super Beard Vincent is the host for that show. Him and Q, and sometimes you don't know how long it's going to take for it to kind of get some legs. Well, it immediately got legs, which is absolutely phenomenal. We've actually done Nerd Talk, and Nerd Talk is, over the last 1.5 years, has morphed several times, but and now I think we've got a solid crew in there. I think, and that's actually, I'm on that one as well. And I'm actually getting ready to start my own called Twisted View, because I'm kind of a political side.
On your political show, huh?
Yeah, well, it's kind of political. It's just me ranting about what other people say, because they really aggravate me, and I'm like, oh, that's not what they meant, or that's not what they say. I'm going to twist the view. That's why we're going to call it Twisted Views. But we have a lot of shows going out of here. And
you're driving a lot of views to your site too.
Yeah.
That's the appeal of with my show and his operation was you can see who's watching the program, and we're carrying a few thousand views a month just or for show, I should say, because of your audience. I mean, what's there naturally. And so what we talked about earlier with Podvision, podcasters can immediately come over to your station here and pick up a new listenership because they're there for you.
That's true. That when we went to Podfest, I was so taken. And I'm not a bag, but I mean, I was so surprised on how well we were received that, and I noticed how that community is just a tight knit community. It's really good. So I told Chris over, I said, look, let all your podcasters know that until they get video, and I don't even once they get video, I want them to, but to give me your RSS feed, because we have a really well received. We hit 35 million plus hits last month. and we're retaining 5 to 6 million views. And it's such a big disconnect. But I think what happens is people come in and go, okay, I've seen that show all way, and then they'll come back and watch it at the right time. But with us being able to offer more, which means if the podcasters will just send us our RSS feed link, we'll put them on there, and we're going to start a new tab on a new page called the Podcasters Universe, and let all my people that are coming to the site, they'll hit it and listen to it, and maybe we can help them.
You offer that for free?
For free.
Wow, that's a great service. And
Yeah.
this site's getting 35 million hits per month, and so the likelihood of you getting seen is much higher, I should say, listened to. So an RSS feed, every podcaster out there knows that's the kind of the lifeblood of your material. Just copy and paste that and send that over to you. How do they send that to you?
John at WeBeamTV.com.
John at WeBeamTV.com. You'd be
I'll make sure that gets up put on thing, because
not to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I mean it's and it just helps. We're not asking for monetization or nothing. We just want to help get it out there. It's a win-win for both. It's keeping my people on there that are coming and hitting the website and potentially, like I've already seen the shows today, I don't want to go, and it'll send people over to their RSS feed, and it gives them more listeners. Because I noticed the big thing on Podfest was how many downloads.
Yeah.
How many downloads do you have? Well, me, it's how many eyeballs do I have? I want to know, and we know real time. For the most part, exactly how many people that day or how many people watch that hour. It's not dead to nuts, as we say. It takes a couple of days to get to solid numbers, but we can go, oh, you know what, we're carrying 2,000 plus, 3,000 plus, 4,000 plus, and I can see that, which is really kind of nice. And so there's none of this. Well, how many listeners do I have?
Yeah, that's the problem that I had on AM radio is you can't show listenership. They have Arbitron ratings, which is a survey method, but it's such a broad approach to listenership that it's very inaccurate, especially on stations that don't carry tons of listeners. So, and I know how it's done in Tampa Bay, a 2 million person metro. I think they hand out like 1,400 meters. The person is then listening to the radio. It tracks what they're listening to. It reports back to Arbitron, and then Arbitron then takes like 50 of those and derives the entire listenership based off of some algorithm that they have created, and it always has the same stations at the top and always has the same stations at the bottom. And if there was, for any reason, somebody who made a dent in one of the lower stations, they would probably write it off as an anomaly and probably just say, no, that's not right. And so that was one of the big problems that I had with radio, because I couldn't show listenership on the radio. Podcasting, if you use services such as Buzzsprout or Libsyn, you can see the downloads. And if you use services such as John and WeBeam TV and Tampa Bay Multimedia, you can see a viewership, because IP addresses are traceable, trackable, and so it's measurable, the results. And so that's another reason why podcasting down the line is going to overtake radio.
Yeah, and WeBeam TV, there are other kind of like us, not really, but there are some that we modeled ourselves after, because again, I didn't invent this. It was my idea to follow one of the leading industry guys, which is Leo Laporte, which is on twit.tv. Love that dude. Been watching that guy since he was on TV, and the minute he went to internet and I saw what he was doing, well, I'm already in the production world, so I'm like, okay, well, he knows what he's doing, so he sees something. And so we jumped out right there with him. But we're free to watch. Now, a lot of content people out there that have what we do, they want you to subscribe and pay. But with us, I'm just not that side of it. I think we should get known for what we do and our shows and the people that are on our shows. Now, I would love to sit there and say that I helped the show get up to 10 million viewers, and they're making millions of dollars now, and I got them there. Now the show's coming into the studio is not free to do the show, but we're an avenue to get you out there where you can. And
there's already a listenership there. I mean, that's a big appeal to Tampa Bay Multimedia. There's already a viewership on that station right there that's measurable and trackable. Now, you got an alien up there. That's the first time I've seen this. What's this Area 52 Media?
Area 52 Media Group. Well, if anybody's ever watched television, at the end of a show, you have all these last-minute little tags come up, and what it is those are all the people that are involved with making that show. Tampa Bay Multimedia is our mothership. That's the biggest. That's the big umbrella. We started Area 52 Media Group because that's where the production is going to start running underneath there. And actually, I took on. I had these great guys come on. I had literally only other than one person. I have brand new crew at Tampa Bay Multimedia, and sometimes I think, and I'm old school where if you get people involved and give them ownership, they'll work harder for you, and they'll work hard for themselves because they want their name not to go bad, and everything is good. So Area 52 is a partnership between me, Gary Gilkey, and Vincent Hoover, and Dylan Gaston, and we have started that little thing. So they all have a piece of the action. They all have a piece, and it's ownership. And ownership to me is a big deal. I don't do anything ever without taking full ownership. Now, if I've done it bad, that's on me.
What about these boxes? I think you mentioned Roku, and there's another one out there, Omnibox,
Roku, Apple TV, Chromecast.
You talked about getting on one of those things.
Well, the great thing about what we do is every one of those units carries YouTube. Mm-hmm. And because we stream live to YouTube as much as possible. YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, those are still all alpha programs. They're not even truly beta. Well, YouTube, I think, finally went to beta, and they're glitchy. That's why we don't use them as a main piece. That's why we stream a solid stream to our website and your website. So that way we know one of our streams are going to be 100% dedicated. We won't have failure. And then, we use YouTube as a backup and Facebook. We're actually having more problems with Facebook than anything. But YouTube seems to become more stable. But you can actually get a channel on Apple TV and Roku and Omnibox, and there's a couple other ones out there that are minuscule. Sling, I think, is another one that's coming up.
Right.
So,
well, we've seen the future of podcasting today on this episode of That Business Show. Be looking out for Podvision, and also check out WeBeamTV.com. A lot of shows on there in addition to mine. So, John Gaston, founder of all these brands, thank you so much, and also thank you so much for making this possible here. Every
you're very welcome. I'm glad to have you in the studio now instead of up there.
Absolutely. And you can catch us Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. on TampaBayRadio.com. You've been listening to That Business Show 2.0 with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.
Hi, welcome to Yeager's. We just want to take a minute and show you what we're all about. At Yeager's, our primary business is hardwood flooring, although we are remodelers for kitchen, bath, and general construction. We operate a fleet of shop-at-home vans that have all the flooring type products, hardwood flooring, laminate flooring, tiles, stone, what have you. So we're able to come out first with products in our vehicles and take a look at the setting, how the colors will work, and then to be able to come up with some options and ideas for you. If that's not good enough, we have a large distribution center that we inventory product and have a nice display area.
Hey everyone, Jamie Meloni here, host of That Business Show 2.0, where business becomes show business. I want to talk a little bit about our network, the Tampa Bay business owners. People familiar with the show know we work in conjunction with this Tampa Bay-based networking group. We got some good events coming up I'd like to make everybody aware of. Our next main event coming up on April 5th at the Tampa Club. It's going to be an interview with Patrick Riddell, founder of the Mini Donut Factory. People in South Tampa are probably familiar with this growing and explosive new brand that opened up just about 2 years ago, and they've got lines around the door. A second location already opened in St. Petersburg, and a third location in negotiations up in Wesley Chapel. Simple concept, nothing like it anywhere around the area, and according to Patrick, even in the country, the mini donut. And so that's all they do. Mini donuts, a variety of different flavors, and it's an exploding concept. And so we're going to be hearing from Patrick Riddell along with his wife Zezra about the founding and the launch and the growth and the success of this brand. We'll also be sharing with us tips and tricks on his real estate business. He was a real estate investor before Mini Donut Factory, and in talking with him yesterday, it was actually the downturn in the real estate market in 2013 and 14. I wouldn't say necessarily the downturn for the general market, but the depleting inventory made it much more difficult for investors that like himself to find, fix, and flip homes, and he needed something else to do because he just wasn't getting enough inventory to keep him busy. And so he started a restaurant. So it went from real estate investing to the restaurant business. Also with a stop before that as a domain reseller, made good money in the domain business, made a substantial return on the domain t-shirts.com. And so something as simple as buying a domain name made him very, very wealthy. Something I toy with from time to time. Just go over to GoDaddy and see what's available out there. There's not too much available in terms of simple URLs anymore. Most of them are a little bit lengthy now to get anything of any value. I was surprised a couple years ago when I got TampaBayRadio.com. I had to pay a bit of a premium for it, but a lot of those URLs, of course, taken up, and people who got in on the ground floor of that business really raked it in. And there's a lot of people out there just sitting on URLs, just waiting for their payday to come in. And so that'll be on April 5th at the Tampa Club. It's a change in our venue. Typically, we're in the Center Club, but this will be a change for this one event. So come over to that. It's from 5 to 7:30. It's free for TBBO members, and we do allow guests to attend one time free of charge. And to do so, just send me a request, and we have to put you on the guest list. I mentioned that you heard it on the podcast, That Business Show. Tickets otherwise are $49 for people who like to attend our events but don't commit to the membership. The membership is an annual fee of $5.95, or you can do $59 a month, and it makes the main event and all the workshops and some of the other interim events that we do free of charge. And we have a group of about 250 entrepreneurs and business leaders inside Tampa Bay, and it's a great collaborative community that I became affiliated with through this radio show, now turned online podcast and streamcast, and through TBBO Tuesdays, which was a regular feature on the radio show. I became partners with the organization, and a lot of the people that are through the radio show, or I should say the podcast now, are members of the Tampa Bay Business Owners. So that's just another benefit of the organization, is that you get to come on to the program free of charge, guaranteed at least one appearance annually, and we can probably throw in another appearance on top of that for people that commit to the membership inside the Tampa Bay Business Owners. The only requirement for joining is that you own a business, and there's nothing like it in the Tampa Bay region. Some people will compare it to a Chamber of Commerce, but Chamber of Commerces are more of a sales environment. We have a non-solicitation policy whereby we're not in there to sell one another our products. We're there to educate and collaborate, and our events focused on some type of topic in business that you can learn from. And so the events go on a couple times every month. The first Wednesday of the month is our main event, and then the third Tuesday of each month is our workshop or our Success Safari. A Success Safari is where we go tour a business, and so great way to meet fellow business owners, get to know one another, collaborate with one another, and you can also utilize the key connection function of the business, whereby I and Chris meet with the members on Wednesdays, discuss connections that we can make for you in the business community, because networking groups are great. It's definitely a necessary part of building a business. But when you go and you find those defined connections that can really grow your business, you can save a lot of time, a lot of headache, and a lot of hassle. And between myself and Chris and this radio show or podcast, I'm so used to saying a radio show because we just recently moved it online. We've had over 1,000 people on this show. I know Chris has had over 5,000 sit-downs with area leaders. And so when you sit down and you talk with us, we can tell you who you need to meet in Tampa. We're not there to sell you any products or make you buy some program or anything. It's just about who you can connect with in the area to help grow and diversify your business. And again, it's a free member benefit. We do that every Wednesday at the Center Club. So again, TBBO members, take advantage of that. You can always make application online, tbbo.org/member-application is the website. Right on the homepage of tbbo.org, though, is a link that says member application, and you can apply for membership. If you hear about it through this podcast, put in there referred by Jamie/that business show, so we know where the source of the business has come from. And we want to hear from you. One of the first things we do is we'll reach out to you and see if you'd like to come onto the podcast to talk to the community about your business. Get your message, your product, your service, your story out in front of so many people through this program, because this program aims to inspire entrepreneurs. We want to hear from you, and we want you to share your story with others. If you're listening to me in another state or even another country, you're welcome to come onto the program too. We are based here in Tampa. The networking group is something that we do here locally in conjunction now with the podcast. But if you come onto the program from across the way, we'll bring you in here via Zoom, and you can talk about whatever it is that you do. And it doesn't matter what level of business that you're in, or at, I should say, or what industry that you're in. We take guests from all walks of business, all areas of success, because our listeners and our viewers are in varying levels of success and failure in their business. And it's nice to hear from people that are on your level. So if you're a struggling startup or you're an established entrepreneur, there are people out there that want to hear your story. So often podcasts that focus on business ownership strictly go to the people at the top, which is good and definitely worthwhile. But I myself want to hear from the people that are still up and coming, because I'm not an established entrepreneur by any means. I've done well in real estate, but this show and the organization, the network, and all the components of that's a whole separate area that I'm working to build up. And so I struggle building that area as well. And so I like to hear from others and see how they overcome those obstacles. And it also inspires me as well. I'm a big proponent of inspirational videos and music and people. And so it's all about keeping moving forward. And I wrote a blog this past week, and one of my favorite movies, you may have heard me mention a few times, is Rocky. And I think it's such a great film that so many people love the film. It's part of Americana these days. And I wrote a blog titled "The Perfect Metaphor for Life." And that's because Rocky, to me, is the perfect metaphor for life. People that know the story may know in the first film, which, by the way, was written by Sylvester Stallone in 3 days in 1976, after he saw Muhammad Ali fight some Wepner fighter. And Wepner was a fairly unknown fighter, was not expected to last very long with the champion Muhammad Ali. But he went the distance. He went the 15 rounds, and he got TKO'd in the 15th round. So he technically didn't go all the distance, but he made it to the last round, and inspired many people because he was not expected to go that long. And Sylvester Stallone saw the film and was inspired, saw the fight, I should say, and inspired him to write the script for Rocky. And people will know, in the first film, he is a street thug working for a loan shark, just an aged boxer, not going anywhere in life. And Apollo Creed is supposed to fight in Philadelphia against a well-known fighter who then breaks their hand or becomes incapacitated in some capacity. And Apollo Creed gives an opportunity to an unknown. And here we see that opportunity lies, anywhere. You never know when it's going to hit. It doesn't matter what stage of your life that it's in. You never know when it's going to hit. And it hit him because of his name. He was the Italian Stallion. And so as Apollo Creed searched for an opponent to fight with, he was attracted to the name. And so naming and marketing has a lot to do with success. Had he just put his name as Rocky Balboa in the pitch sheet to Apollo Creed, he may have not gotten picked, but it was the Italian Stallion that attracted him. So creativity and marketing are one of the components that I say come together to form this perfect metaphor for life. He did not believe he would beat Apollo Creed, and he doesn't beat Apollo Creed in part one. He has just one goal, and the one goal is to go to the distance with Apollo Creed. Nobody expects him to go the distance, but nonetheless, he does go the distance, nearly outlasting him in the final round. And there's just so much inspiration in that movie. It's a perfect metaphor for life in the sense that you can struggle, you can be going nowhere, and you get that one opportunity, and you act upon that one opportunity, and look what it leads to. And in Rocky, he nearly defeats Apollo Creed to win the championship, which leads to the next movie, part two, which is a whole other storyline and a whole other set of metaphors that translates to the struggles that we all face in life. And I'll talk about how parts 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and the spinoff Creed all ties into being the perfect metaphor for life when we come back from this break. You're currently listening to That Business Show 2.0. We're here Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. on TampaBayRadio.com. And please subscribe to us on iTunes and YouTube. All shows are available on demand, and we want to hear your story too. We want you to help inspire the next entrepreneur. So visit tbsinterview.com, and again, catch us Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. on TampaBayRadio.com. You're listening to That Business Show 2.0 with your host, Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.
Hi, welcome to Yeager's. We just want to take a minute and show you what we're all about. At Yeager's, our primary business is hardwood flooring, although we are remodelers for kitchen, bath, and general construction. We operate a fleet of shop-at-home vans that have all the flooring-type products, hardwood flooring, laminate flooring, tiles, stone, what have you. So we're able to come out first with products in our vehicles and take a look at the setting, how the colors will work, and then to be able to come up with some options and ideas for you. If that's not good enough, we have a large distribution center that we inventory product and have a nice display area.
Hey, Jamie Meloni here on That Business Show 2.0, where business becomes show business. Talking about how the film Rocky is the perfect metaphor for life. It's one of my favorite films. I first saw it when I was a very young individual, and I've probably seen it over a couple hundred times now. It's one of those films that one of the parts is always on television. It's some time of the day on some channel, from Rocky 1 all the way up through 6, and now there's a spinoff with the new movie Creed that came out a couple of years ago. But there's always Rocky somewhere on the television dial because it's just such a perfect metaphor for life. Like I said, it's what people see so much similarities between it and the struggles that they go through in life. And being a boxer is one of those sports where when you're in the ring with another fighter, and I don't really know this, I'm not saying I'm a boxer by any means, but there is nobody that you can fall back on. It's all you one-on-one with your competitor in the ring. Other sports that are team sports, you know, somebody could drop off, somebody could slack a little bit, and another teammate can pick up his or her slack. In boxing, you can't do that. When you slack and you fall off, you get knocked out. And so there is nobody to help you inside that ring. And so Rocky embodies so many different metaphors. And in the first one, it's about how coming from nothing can happen to anybody, how there's opportunity available at any point in your life, and how something as challenging as defeating somebody on what you perceive as a whole nother level can in fact happen, and you should not set yourself short for believing that you cannot achieve that. And so in part 2, Rocky gets a rematch, a second chance at Apollo Creed. But in here, we see that Rocky doesn't want anything to do with Apollo in the rematch. He's wants to retire. He made some money on the fight. His wife Adrienne definitely does not want him to fight because he was beaten pretty badly in the film, and so she does not want him to fight. Apollo Creed uses some, bully tactics to pull Rocky out, make him look, like he's scared and that he's a wimp, that he's a chicken. And he's able to pull Rocky out from behind, the curtain and get him to commit to a second fight because Apollo was humiliated. People thought that he carried him through the fight, that he should have defeated Rocky within 2 or 3 rounds, and so he's humiliated and he needs to avenge the match with a devastating rematch in which he destroys Rocky Balboa in the second film. And so as he begins to train, though, he doesn't have the support from Adrienne. His wife is very much opposed to the fight. He trains very poorly, and it's just very ineffective. And his trainer, Mickey, is about to give up on him, at which point Adrienne then becomes inspired to support Rocky, and we see this complete change in his persona, this complete change in his training and his fighting abilities. And what we see here is the power of relationships, how other people can impact your success or your failure, and your wife, your best friends, your children, all those people you're connected to on some subconscious level that we don't fully understand, and without their support, it can impact your ability to perform. And so you want to be mindful of the relationships that you have in life, being with regard to your ability to succeed in life. And so if you have toxic relationships, people that aren't supporting you in life, you need to take a hard look at whether or not they need to be in your life, because they may be impacting your ability to succeed. And so in part 2, Rocky goes on to defeat Apollo Creed in the very well-known double knockout scene in which Rocky beats Apollo Creed by 1 second on the double knockout and wins the heavyweight title of the world. And so parts 1 and 2 are an excellent complement to one another. A lot of times the sequels are terrible in relation to the prequel, but not in this case. Parts 1 and 2 complement one another very well, and it's no doubt as to why you can find Rocky 1 or Rocky 2 or any of the other movies on television at any time. There are so many relations, so many metaphors to life, and so many people can identify with the challenges and the struggles that Rocky goes through as a boxer in the film. Part 3, people may remember, he fights Mr. T, and this is a great example of how even when you're on top, you can fall, because he loses to Mr. T, or it's Clubber Lang in the film, suffers a devastating loss and loses one of his most closest companions, Mickey, in the process. His trainer dies after the fight, suffers a heart attack right before the start of the match, and again impacts his ability to succeed because he is concerned with the health of Mickey. And in his dying moments, Rocky lies to him and tells him he defeats Clubber Lang when in fact he had just lost. And suffering from depression and just having a hard time recovering from that, he sees Clubber Lang go on and become the heavyweight champion. And we see a return of Apollo Creed in this film, who then comes back, trains Rocky to reach the top again and to go on and defeat Clubber Lang to win the heavyweight title of the world. And again, another great example of the power of relationships, and another great example of even when you're on top, you can fall, but you can come back on top again. And you can't let a fall from the top of the mountain affect you and let yourself continue to fall. You get back up and you get back up on the mountain again. And so part 3, another excellent example of the challenges that we all face in life in one capacity or another. So many parallels between the lessons learned inside that film. Part 4 came out at the most perfect time in the 80s, was the fight against the Russian, and at the height of the Cold War in 1986 or 1987. We see Apollo Creed lose and die in part 4 after fighting the Russian, and Rocky going on to avenge his friend's death. And in part 5 is one of those kind of anomalies in the series. It was very poorly received by the Rocky community, but it talks about, I think it shares though an example of giving back. Though he tries to give back to the young Tommy Gunn in the movie, who of course turns on him. But so many of us, after we've experienced success, want to give back, and it is an example of having a protege in your life. And I talk a lot about on that show. Everybody needs to be in a mentor-protege relationship in one capacity or another, because that's how we all learn. We all learn from one another. Part 6 is a great film because it shows you that even as an aged fighter, you still have ability, you still have skills. And when Rocky fights the Antonio Tarver, who is Mason Dixon in the movie, he has that one last great fight, and you hear so often that people have that one last great fight in them in whatever life that they're in. And part 6 shared with us one of the most important lines and lessons from the movie, or from the entire series, when in talking with his son, who is disgraced or embarrassed by his father's return to the age in his 50s to fight, the young Mason Dixon, inspires Rocky to remind his son that, it's not about how hard you get hit, but how hard or how much you can take and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. It's a great scene. I don't know it line for line, but it's such an inspirational line and moment in the movie that I've heard it quoted so many times. And it's about how if you're not where you're at, want to be in life, it's not about blaming others. It's about accepting who you are and taking responsibility for yourself, about how much you can take and keep moving forward, how much you can do and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. It's an excellent line from the movie, a tremendous scene that I like to watch over and over again. It's a great inspirational moment inside that entire series. And then we go on to the spin-off of Creed, in which Rocky, now a senior citizen running his restaurant, meets the young son of Apollo Creed, who was the illegitimate child of his father through another relationship, and wants Rocky to train him. And we see here how he doesn't want to adopt the name Creed because he wants to make a name for himself. He then goes on to give himself the name Creed to fight the champion, to make a name for the fight. But here we see how people want to make a name for themselves, how a sense of self-identity is so important to us, and how we don't necessarily want to ride the coattails of our fathers or our mothers or the people that came before us. And there's so many lessons, there's so many other great takeaways inside of this series of movies that I call it the perfect metaphor for life. Again, one of my most favorite films. I've seen each one of them hundreds of times in one part or another. They're always on the television set, and it's one of the ways that I stay motivated. And so when you're needing inspiration in life, you got to get off of social media. You got to turn off the 24-hour news networks. Those are drama-driven series that are just aimed at, keeping you glued to the television set to see who said what about who and so next. And so find inspiration, find the movies, find the shows, find the speakers, the videos, the cassettes, the CDs, the DVDs that have a positive message. This show being one of them. I hope to inspire you as a business owner each and every time that you watch this show. I struggle with my business. I'm by no means a highly successful individual. I've experienced moments of extreme success, and I've experienced moments of failure as well, sometimes extreme failure. It's something that we all go through, but you can't let it defeat you. It's about how much you can take and keep moving forward, like I said, from the scene inside Rocky 6. That's how winning is done. You're going to win some and you're going to lose some. But if you keep moving forward, the net effect, the overall net result is going to be positive. Just keep a positive attitude. Keep moving forward. Keep exposing yourself to things of positive nature and stay off of all the negative rhetoric. There's plenty of people out there that will do that. That's one of the ways that you can differentiate yourself, by not engaging in all the negative talk out there. It's okay to be divisive, or I wouldn't say divisive. It's okay to disagree with others, but you want to do it so in a constructive manner. And so much of today's society is driven by unconstructive criticism and comments through our social media. So just another reason why I like to do this show each and every day is inspire you, educate you, hear from others, and I myself learn from the guests that come onto this program. It's a great forum for myself to learn from others, as well as you to also learn and hear from others. And again, we're here Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. on TampaBayRadio.com. Please find us and subscribe to us on iTunes. Leave a comment. It helps our ratings, helps us get found by other people. And also find us on YouTube. Just go to thatyoutubechannel.com. We make it very easy to find that by that URL, thatyoutubechannel.com, and subscribe to us over there and leave comments on the videos as well. And find us again Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. on TampaBayRadio.com. You've been listening to That Business Show 2.0 with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.